Hi there, this is Interghost, and today I'm going to be doing my top 10 Super Nintendo games that I own. So it's not the top 10 best Super Nintendo games ever. I'm just going to do it out of my own collection, and these are all the Super Nintendo games I own at the moment. I did used to have a ton more than this, but I got rid of nearly all of them, kept a few of the classic titles, and I'm slowly getting them all back again, so here's what I have at the moment. Now this top 10, I'm not going to include the common top 10 games, so I put them all over to the side here. Now obviously these would be in my top 10 and it would make the video too obvious, so I've left these ones out. So here we have them. It's Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, Star Wing, Secret of Mana, Mario RPG, and the classic Street Fighter 2. So those are the games I'm not going to include on the list. Otherwise that's the top, well, I think there's about 9 there anyway. And like I said, that's the ones people always go for. Now also there are some games which I would have liked to have in this list, but I do not own the games, and that's games such as Mega Man X, Lost Vikings and Metroid. Just to name a few. There are some games I'm still trying to get back in my collection at the moment, but as you all know they cost quite a bit of money, so I'm sure I'll get them at some point. So here's the top 10. So starting at number 10 we have, let's see if I can find it, Pop and Twinbee. Pop and Twinbee is a shoot 'em up game, which is quite surprising for me because I don't actually like shoot 'em up games. But I remember having this one back in the day, and it was one which I thought was really fun, very colourful, and you have to collect bells as they come down the screen to power up your little spaceships. And if you've never played that one, make sure you give it a go because it's really worth playing. So the next one is one straight above it, and that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters.
Round 1. Fight!
Now the reason I chose this one is because when I was young I used to really love the Turtles, which I'm sure a lot of you did, and this game came out same sort of time as Street Fighter 2. It cashed in on the whole Street Fighter 2 series, and it's basically the same game as Street Fighter 2 but using turtle characters. Even the controls are almost exactly the same. You've got the down, rotate forward, hold back and push forward and punch and that sort of thing to do the moves. So if you've never played this game and you like Street Fighter 2, grab it and have a look. Next game is Krusty Super Fun House. Now this is a puzzle game. This is another one I used to enjoy when I was younger. As you know, sort of early 90s, it saw a big craze of The Simpsons, so they brought out a few Simpson games, and this one's probably my favourite one of them all on the Super Nintendo. And it's, like I said, it's a puzzle game. You actually control Krusty rather than the main Simpson characters, and you have to kill all the little rats or mice or whatever they are and complete each level. So if you like puzzle games, check that one out. Next game is Gods. Now this is a Bitmap Brother game. It's really good. I originally chose this because I had this on the Atari ST, and that's the version I used to play most. But the one on the Super Nintendo is just as good. They've converted it almost the same. And although I've never got very far in this game, it's still a really good game. And I just like the way you can buy weapons and that sort of thing. And it's a sort of like a puzzle platformer game. So check that one out too. Next one is King Arthur's World. Now this is another puzzle game. You might see a little bit of a theme going here, but yeah, I did like my puzzle games on the Super Nintendo, and this one is a really good one. You control King Arthur, and you have to lead different types of knights. You got archers, swordmen. I think you had people with shields, and you had to get from one end of the screen to the other, destroying other knights and castles on the way. So again, if you like puzzle games, this is a good pick up and play one, and that's King Arthur's World. So, number 5 is, if I can find it, and it's Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, although it's not a brilliant game, I think the main reason I like this game so much is because as a kid, and even now today, Jurassic Park remains to be one of my favourite films of all time. And this game just has a lot of nostalgia for me. I remember getting this game when it came out when I was younger, and I think the only thing that let this game down was there was no save option. So if you want to complete the game, you have to play from beginning to end, and this game is a long game. You've got an overhead view. You're Dr. Grant, and you have to go around shooting dinosaurs, finding different ways into the buildings. Then when you go into the buildings, it goes into like a 3D Wolfenstein style game, and you have to go shooting the not zombies, shooting the dinosaurs, and getting through there. So if you love the film Jurassic Park, check that one out. It's much better than the other games by the same name, which were out at the time on things like the Mega Drive, in my view anyway. So it's well worth checking that one out. Now this game, at number 4, is called Actraiser. Now Actraiser is a really good game. I think it's Emo Joe 1990's favourite Super Nintendo game. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's sort of like a side-scrolling platform game crossed with a Sims God type game. You're the god, and you have to create a village or a town, and you have to keep all the villagers happy. And then when monsters attack, you go down into the town, into a level, and it turns into a side-on scrolling beat 'em up game, and really works well. And although I've never completed it, it's still one of my favourite games of all time on the Super Nintendo. Next game, straight under there, is the Firemen. Now this is a very uncommon game on the Super Nintendo. I'm not sure if it's rare, but I'm aware that not a lot of people know about this game. Now, the Fireman is one of the best games on the Super Nintendo. It ranks up with all the Marios and that sort of thing for me. Really good concept. You are the firemen. You go into a burning building. You start at the bottom floor and you have to work your way up to the top. The enemies are fire. So you've got different fires. Some go across the floor, ceiling. Also, you've got robots in the building and they're on fire and they come towards you, that sort of thing. And it's really worth picking up. It's quite expensive, but if you can get it, I really recommend you pick this one up, and it's the Fireman. Now we're down to number 2 and number 1. Now number 2 on the list is a game which, although isn't a great game in terms of graphics, the playability of the game is just really good, and it's one I keep going back to all the time and love completing, and that is, it might surprise some people, the Addams Family. Now, the Addams Family is one of my favourite platform games, and I really like platform games, and Super Nintendo has quite a lot of them. And this one just sort of stands out for me. It's one I have completed. I've completed it a few times now, and like I said, I keep going back to this game. Your game is, you have to go through the house, go into different doors which open up different levels. You jump on things' heads, so it's a general run-of-the-mill platform in that way. But the game's just really fun. You can power up your hearts. And yeah, if you've never played this, it's very cheap on eBay. Pick up a unboxed copy for a couple of quid. Put this in. Look past the graphics and you'll find this is a really good game. Now my number 1 game, this is the game which I got for my birthday when I was about 16, something like that. And it's a game which I never really knew what it was. I went into town on my birthday and there was a shop called Software Box, and it used to sell second-hand Super Nintendo games, which a lot of shops didn't used to do that at the time. We went in there with my uncle and he said, pick a game and I'll buy it for you. And I went along all the games on the shelf, picked this one up. Like I said, I didn't know what it was. Just like the cover, and I was into fantasy type games and that sort of thing back when I was younger, and this one looked quite interesting from the back, so I got this game, and it is, my number 1 game is Shadowrun. And it is a sort of action role-play game. It is an RPG. Basically, you're a guy and you wake up in a morgue and you've lost your memory. And it's set in the future, but it's also got a fantasy element to it. So you've got orcs and goblins and that sort of things mixed in with cyberpunk, so all sort of futuristic. You can hack into computers using your brain, and you go inside the computers, and it goes into like a virtual world, and you sort of just have to find out who you are and what you're doing, and also you have to take down the big corporation run by a person called Drake, which is actually a big dragon who talks. Sounds a bit strange. I'm not sure how many people know about this game, but if you've never played it, this is my number 1 game in my collection, and I should think that you should get it. It may be quite expensive now. This is one of the games I kept hold of when I sold all my other games. So I hope you liked that little video. That's my top 10 Super Nintendo games that I own, and I've been interghost. Thanks for watching, and please remember to subscribe. Cheers.